What it is, Daniacs? Welcome to Dane's World. We got some story time for you. All right, so I was on tryouts yesterday with this concrete crew. The guy told me just come in for today, which was yesterday. He said it's most likely not going to be full time, but we might be able to use you part time here and there. And so I went and helped this crew on this pretty big slab. It is a great crew, which down in Florida, there's plenty of great crews. Up here in Arkansas, the great crews are far and few between. So it actually means something when you're a good crew out here. There's a lot of fucking shitty crews. I've worked with a few of them. And so this was a great crew. You know, they were happy with my help. Uh, I've been doing my own concrete and masonry for a year and a half now. And so I was raised up in that. I absolutely know the job. I'm not definitely not a master concrete guy. I'm definitely better at masonry than I am concrete, but I know enough about concrete to get my own jobs and do them right and do them well. So anyway, everything went well. There was almost 10 guys there altogether, which is a pretty decent sized crew. And man, on a big pour like that, you really need the help. You really do need the help. And the boss reminded me a whole lot of my uncle, my uncle James, that taught me concrete. And I was taught by the best. I am not saying I am the best, but I was taught by the best in both concrete and masonry. My uncle James taught me the concrete side, and he knows masonry too, and he's really good at masonry. But the best crew in the fucking county is the one that taught me my masonry down in Florida. That was Rusty's Masonry, Rusty Schnedeker. I don't think he's in business anymore, but um, he got the most per block out of anyone in the county, and he always had a line of houses ahead of him because people knew that when Rusty pulled up on a job, that shit was gonna be perfect. No fucking problems. All the block was looking great. He emphasized quality over quantity. So I was taught by the fucking best. I'm not the best, but I was taught by the best, and I know what the best looks like. But I don't need to be the best out here in Arkansas, because down in Florida, I'm average in both concrete and masonry. I'm average in Florida, but up here in Arkansas, I am well above average. Because some of them shitty crews I was telling y'all about, I worked with a couple of them, and god damn, that under these fuckers' direction, I had a hand in producing some of the shittiest fucking concrete I've ever seen, and it wasn't my fucking fault. Because it was under the direction of how they ran their fucking crews. Like this one time, we were pouring this house, and I think it was a smaller crew for this particular one, and this fucking guy, man. He always paid me good, so I don't like to blast his name out, but goddamn, he had some of the worst concrete and block I've seen. So we did this fucking garage for this one house, right? Fuck, I'm story bouncing, but and it just to pontificate it. There's a lot of shitty crews out here. We poured this fucking garage, right? And first off, this motherfucker for a screed had a 2x20 board, okay? And if you know anything about, I'm talking about a board, not reinforced or anything. So it was bowing like a motherfucker in the middle. And whenever it bows in the middle, that means it's pushing up and it's not getting it flat. And this stupid motherfucker was working us to death on the goddamn screed because he didn't have a proper screed to begin with. And he's like, you go back and forth and back and forth. It's like, motherfucker, we don't have the right goddamn screed to begin with. So we waste all this fucking time screeding this shit. And it still wasn't right. It still wasn't flat. And I started going around getting the edges like you're supposed to fucking do. And he's like, nah, man, don't worry about those edges. Come over here and help us back here. But guess what? Back here in the back porch, the other section, they didn't brace that shit off right in the back. So he's like, come over here and help us screed back here. So as soon as they started pouring, it was like a big old wall in the back. The wall started fucking blowing out in the middle of a pour, which is exactly what you do not want. And the boss was like, oh, I talking to this other guy. He's like, oh, I told you to check that and make sure it was good. Nah, man, if you're the boss, you fucking check it and make sure every fucking time, just to make sure your guy made sure. Okay, so he was putting shit off on people that worked under him, even though shit was all under his direction and stuff. And long story short, he told me to stop doing the edges. Okay, those edges never got hit. I was about to hit them all. It would have just took 10 fucking minutes. But no, stop doing those edges over there, Dane, and come over here and watch me cluster fuck this pour. Oh god. So that was just one example. Another shitty crew, and just because of how these motherfuckers ran their shit, you know. And I knew what they were doing wrong the whole time, but you're on their fucking crew, right? And you can't be telling them, right? So it's like, so I was working with this other crew, and this other motherfucker never even paid me, and I saved his ass on this pour, even though it still turned out looking like shit. But without me there, it would have looked even worse. And what I mean, this motherfucker poured it the driest I've ever seen the concrete at 2 o'clock in the middle of summer. Okay, and right after he dumped the trucks out and poured all the concrete out, motherfucker walks off talking to people for an hour and a half, and he left me and this one other motherfucker that didn't know what he was doing to work on the goddamn concrete. He didn't even screed it all. Yeah, he didn't even screed it all. So if you don't screed parts of it, it's gonna be all lumpy and shit. And you got to go back over and hand trowel it. So goddamn, this concrete just looked like straight up fucking shit, dude. This guy did not give a fuck, and then he didn't even pay me at the end of the day. I'm still wanting to call that motherfucker out to punch him in the face on camera. You know, we'll call it a sparring match that way it's legal, but yeah, I still owe that motherfucker some punches in the face. Fucking okay, so go circling back to the original story, which was my job yesterday, right? So I do a great job. You know, I help them pour and I help them finish, but I brought a gallon of water, but that shit was gone by like 10 o'clock, and I'm getting thirsty, man. I'm getting dehydrated. I helped them pour and I helped them finish, right? And they're all starting to break the forms down and move them over because they got to set up for another pour on a big porch on this thing. It was a big old house. I'll drop a picture of it. And about, I don't know, 2:30, I go up 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And at this point, I've already been without drinking anything for hours. I was getting dehydrated. I almost passed out twice, like literally got super lightheaded and almost fainted twice. Um, there was nothing to drink out there. Uh, I was starting to get cramps and locking up and shit. I was starting to get all the signs of heat exhaustion. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm sitting down. And to that point, if you don't ever hurt yourself over some fucking crew just because you think that if you need to sit down, you sit the fuck down, dude. It doesn't matter if you get fired or not. Fuck all that shit. Your health is more important than anything because once you get heat exhaustion and heat stroke, then you are much more susceptible to get heat stroke later on in the future. I'm from Florida. I know this shit. Um, it gets hot as fuck in Florida. So, you know, at the end of the day, the boss said he was going to pay me out, and he's like, he was kind of him hawing. He's like, I don't know. I might be able to use you tomorrow to pour the porch. He's like, well, I don't know. I noticed you're wearing a mushroom shirt. It was a different one than this. I got a few mushroom shirts. He's like, I noticed you're wearing a mushroom shirt. Do you do mushrooms and smoke weed? I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I do, bro. He's like, well, thank you for being honest, but I'm not sure if I can use you on my crew if you're into all that. I try to be professional. Okay, now if anyone knows anything about concrete guys, it don't matter how professional you look. If you are a true concrete guy and you're fucking up in it, you are a fucking savage, dude. You are a heathen ass fucking savage. Because concrete is just a different kind of trade, y'all. Because it's setting up on you. You are on a constant time limit. And this guy, he actually reminded me a lot of my uncle who taught me. He was like barking orders all day. And if y'all have been paying attention to my stories, you know I will fire a boss quick if they talk down to me. But there's a difference between directing a crew and talking down to you personally. Okay, there's a big difference between that. And some people might confuse the two if they're not, you know, familiar with the nuances of, uh, uh crew dynamics. It's just so this guy reminded me a lot of my uncle, except for my uncle was way more fucking crazy as shit, way more boisterous, cussing left and right. And this guy was cussing a little bit, but you know, just barking orders all day, and that's fine. You know, this guy knew what he was doing. You could tell, you know, he was just making sure everything was going exactly how he knows it's supposed to go. That's cool. I can deal with that. And so at the end of the day, though, and then after I told him I smoke weed and eat mushrooms, he's like, all right, well, I'm not sure if I can use you then. He's like, thank you for being honest. I'm like, bro, I ain't got nothing to fucking lie about. Like, life's too fucking short. You know, if you don't want me on your crew because I smoke weed, that's fine. But I'd rather you hate me for what I am than love me for what I'm not, type deal. You know. Uh, so I don't know if I'll get a call back from him, but I got some numbers from some of the other guys that was out there. You know, and because I'm getting my own bids and shit, I need a couple guys to call on in case I get a bid pop off and I need some help. But I got a number for this other guy that he takes his own jobs, and I just hit him up recently. So it's a whatever type thing, you know. And people are like, why didn't you just lie to him? And the guy's like, no one on my crew smokes weed. I'm like, motherfucker, no one on your crew admits to your face that they smoke weed. If you got a crew of, if you got a crew of 8 construction workers, you can rest a fucking sure at bare minimum, at least 2 to 3 of them smoke weed, at least, and I'm talking at least, if not half, you know. But at bare minimum, at least a quarter of them smoke weed, if not half or 3 quarters, you know. And this, I was like, dude, it's not like I've been running around talking about I smoke weed to your workers all day. I don't come here to talk about fucking what I do in my free time. I come here to help out and get the job done. But it's whatever, you know. You asked me straight up, so I told you straight up. So I didn't fire this boss, you know. It was a mutual thing. He gave me my fair respect, you know, and I gave it right back. It's just you come at me sideways, you're gonna get came on sideways. I done told you all this. You come at me straight up, you're gonna get came on straight up. So, and that's the same thing for all my theology shit. You know, it all depends on how you come at me. We're still going to have the general disagreements because in the followers of Abraham theology, that they all have scriptures demanding my death. So that's still there, whether you're an agreeable person or not. You know, you stand on these scriptures which call for my death. So either way, we're going to have some fucking issues. So I don't know. This might not have been as fun of a story as me firing my last boss. You know, this was but you know, at least I got a little bit of money. Not enough to pay any fucking bills with, but enough to keep me going for a little bit till I might be able to find something else. Anyway, this is just a little vlog story. Step into Dane's world. That's just what's going on with me recently. I'm still working on my vocals. I've been writing up a bunch of warm up stuff. I've been checking out free warm up stuff. So I'm trying to put together a morning warm up routine for vocals, and I'll be dropping that here soon. So thanks for rolling the dark light, y'all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. This is just a little vlog type. Everything I do is a fucking vlog. Honestly, I have the most raw, the most real fucking vlog channel on YouTube. Straight up, dude. Honestly, I'll save that for different videos. All right, so y'all stay sexy, motherfuckers. Step into Dane's world.